I will kick off the annual meeting of the Delaware County Land Reutilization Corporation, also known as the Delaware County Land Bank. Once a year, we are required in the month of April to hold an annual meeting and address any policy issues, re-elect officers, and anything else that comes up. So I wanted to, I'll open up the agenda. And the first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the 2025 annual meeting. Oh wait, before I get started, I'll do introductions. I always forget. Commissioner Gary Merrill is treasurer. I'm Jeff Benton, chair. Michelle Bonney is you an officer.
I think I'm secretary. Am I secretary?
No, I think
No.
I'm secretary.
Oh,
Okay, so Michelle Bonney's at large. Sandra Pereira is secretary.
I please.
Doug Crew, do you have a title here?
Not yet.
Interested member, that's
All right, all right. Esteemed board member. Okay, so done introductions. We'll address the 2025 annual meeting minutes. Anybody has any comments, questions, changes, suggestions? I'd entertain a motion to approve them.
so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Sandra. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. One other item that we include in the annual meeting agenda every year is to approve the submission of our annual report to the Hinkle system, which is the state auditor's financial reporting system. And we have experts and here today to talk about that. Karen, I don't know if you wanted to say anything about the financials. Justin? We're an audited organization, so we do have audited financials every year.
Thanks, board members. Justin Navi, Director of Finance. Just as some background, we contract with Julian and Group. They're a governmental CPA firm out of Westerville to prepare the basic financial statements. Those were sent to Karen and I reviewed them, and they were submitted, I believe, last month. And then we're starting to get inquiries from Ray and Associates, which is the independent CPA firm that does the audit for the county, the land bank, and the DCFA. So we're working with them right now on any questions they have.
Okay.
But we don't anticipate any audit findings.
Okay. So the financials are, at least the compiled financials are done. The
Right.
audit will begin soon officially. Karen, any other observations, comments? Okay.
Great, thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Justin. Let's see. So we have submitted to Hinkle or we have not? We have not. Okay, so we need to approve the submission of the financials to the Hinkle report system, the auditors. So any
I'll move.
move to approve? Any other comments, questions? I entertain a second for that.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Merrill. Okay, we will take a vote. All those in favor of submitting the financials to Hinkle, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Karen, Hallie, we are done with that. The next four are just the selection of the officers: chair, vice chair, treasurer, and secretary. May as well start with chair. If somebody wants to be chair, I am certainly
I move Commissioner Benton be president.
entertain that a change, but
I second.
I'm willing to serve again.
Congrats.
So any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I am retained as chair. Vice chair, who's vice chair? You're vice chair. Okay, that's, okay, we're good. It's confusing, I
Happy to
apologize.
serve.
So, I don't know if anybody wants to add vice chair to the
Well, I can make a
resume.
motion for that if somebody else wants to.
Okay,
I move for Shabani to be vice chair.
okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Sandra. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? All right, congratulations, another
Thanks.
term. That's very exciting. Okay, next one is the treasurer. Commissioner Merrill serves as treasurer and I believe is willing
I am.
to serve again, since Karen does 99% of the work.
Well, let's say 98.
98. Yeah, Karen does a great job, and Commissioner Merrill does a good job overseeing it. So do we have a nomination? Did somebody nominate? Commissioner Merrill?
I'll move to nominate Commissioner Merrill for treasurer.
Okay, second.
Second.
Doug. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
All right, congratulations. Last one, the fourth one is the secretary nominations. Sandra, you're willing to
It's
re-up?
tough, but I think I can.
Okay. Anybody, I would entertain a nomination for Sandra to be secretary.
So moved. I'll second.
Okay, Doug nominated, Gary second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we have the 4 officers reappointed. Next one, I do like to have an annual ethics policy acknowledgement. Everybody should have received the form in the mail. If you didn't, I think Ally's given everyone one. So if you could sign that, fill that out, and give it to Ally, she will gather those, and we'll have that addressed. So, okay. So, and then policy review. Next item, last item on the agenda. Really, I don't know if anybody has any changes to the recommended changes, improvements
I do not.
to the existing policies. I review them every year. We really don't have a whole lot of activity within the land bank, in terms of land bank properties, which is what most of the properties, or most of the policies relate to. So I don't really have any suggested changes. I don't know if anybody else had any proposed changes. So we will move on. That will take care of the annual meeting. Oh, we went a little long this year. We went 8 minutes. Usually it's quicker than that. So I will close that. We will close out the annual meeting and go into our regular meeting, which is where we do conduct most of our work. A lot going on, although it's actually been a fairly quiet quarter because we just haven't heard anything from the ODOD in terms of the applications we've submitted. So, but there is certainly some administrative work to take care of. I will call the April 20th, 2026 meeting of the Delaware County Land Reutilization Corporation, or Land Bank. I'll call that to order. First item is the approval of the electronic record of the proceedings and minutes from January 13th special meeting. So I don't know if anybody has any questions, comments. Everything should have been sent out in an email.
Move to approve as submitted.
Any second? Anybody got a second?
Second.
Second by Sandra. Okay. Any further discussion, comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. The minutes are approved. We do have a set of minutes from November to approve, but we'll do those under other business since they weren't specifically listed on the agenda that was circulated. We have a number of invoices, just routine invoices to approve. The first one is from Scott Gordon, our attorney, for $720. Second one is CEC, and that's a cap of not to exceed $50,000, which is, I think, is the amount that we budgeted, isn't it, $50,000? So that way, whenever CEC submits an invoice, we don't have to formally approve that particular invoice. SFM has a couple of our insurance policies, the D&O and the property and casualty, $3,115 and $3,075. No change from the prior year. Julian and Grube, who does compiles our financial statements, is not to exceed $1,100. They have not submitted an invoice yet. Okay. And the same with Ray and Associates, not to exceed $97.50. No invoice. Well, they haven't really started their work much. The Ohio Auditor State, not to exceed $400. They do a review. So with that, I don't know if anybody had any questions, comments about any of the specific items. I would entertain a motion to approve all 6 with one motion.
I would so nominate or approve.
Doug makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Michelle. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next, we move on to our treasurer's report. A lot of sitting on a good good amount of money in the Star, Ohio, and
We are.
and our regular checking.
March 2026 Land Bank reconciliation. First Commonwealth, we had 3 deposits during the month of March. From the demo grant from ODOD for $31,684.68, one for $21,130.47, and a brownfield grant of $58,378.10. Wrote 2 checks, one, as of this, receiving this report, had not cleared the bank, but the 2 checks were for $28,950 and one for $18,745. And the bank balance at the end of March was $102,346.88. And DTAC collections for the first half, April 14th, in the amount of $93,764.11. And I've been told that $80,000 of that will be put in the STAR account. Is that correct? Yes. And the bank balance at the end of March was interest earned was $2,332.17 in the STAR account. And interest earned for 2025 was $7,784.89. But we didn't really have a STAR account for the full year last year, so it's not really apples and apples.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I have.
Yeah, the DTAC, first half DTAC check came in, it was 83,000? 93,000.
Thank you.
93,000. So clearly, I guess you could call it a good month in that regard. I mean, we don't like collecting delinquent taxes, we'd rather have people pay on time, but when they don't, it is appropriate to have a penalty, and so we've collected 93,000. And the combined now sits over 300, well over 300,000 now, between the two, between the Star Ohio account, which earns money market rates, and the regular checking account. So sitting in a good position cash-wise. And we can get into a discussion of what to do with that later, but I think that's it for the treasurer's report.
That's it.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I would so move.
Doug, second?
Second.
Sandra? All right, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, treasurer's report is approved. Next item is a recommendation of our attorney to do a formal authorization again for reimbursement funds to the eligible applications for the 2026 demolition and brownfield grants. As you may remember, the money, the lead bank, or the land bank takes the lead and gets the money from the state, and then we pass it on through to the various recipients as a reimbursement. So I think it's appropriate that we have a formal action to authorize those disbursements when they come in. So, did I say that well enough, Scott?
Yes, I think so. I think when the land bank started facilitating these demolition and brownfield grants, we were reviewing them more closely, and I think it at every new round of the funding, I think it seems like good practice for the land bank to stay in touch with that, to make sure that the funds are coming in, the project was appropriately completed, and then formally take that action.
Yeah.
So because there's been subsequent rounds of these grants, I think it was, we had not authorized it for this round of grants.
Yeah, we've not heard anything. I assume, Rand, you still haven't heard anything. We haven't heard anything from ODOD in terms of approving the 2026 grants that were applied for last fall. And we will get into more detailed discussion here pretty soon of that. So that's the background of this action. So if I would entertain a motion, or if anybody has any questions or comments about it, otherwise I'd entertain a motion to approve reimbursement of those funds to the eligible applicants.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Sandra? Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we are authorized to reimburse those applicants as the funds come to us from the ODOD. Okay, next one is really the next few really are the main topics for conversation of our regular meetings. Number 6 is the additional demolition grant applications. Just kind of a reminder, we have the current year's programs, the applications are due May 1st for both demo and brownfield. We've already oversubscribed on the brownfield, so we don't have any funding availability there, but we do have funding availability on the demolition grants. As you'll recall, I think we get about $230,000 a year in the current funding legislation that was funded. Each county gets $230,000, and we've only spoken.
It's 250.
250?
Yes.
Okay, 250,000. And we don't have all 250,000 identified as projects to be submitted by May 1st. So I'll turn it over to Emily. You want to bring us up to date?
Yeah, thank you. Emily Rasthofer, Civil and Environmental Consultants. So yeah, the May 1st deadline, that's just for the demolition program to identify potential sites. So we have the one site approved so far, the 1251 US 23 North project.
That's our old service station. On
That's
23
the,
North.
did I have them swapped?
Or is that
Swapped?
the house?
The house,
That's the
okay.
house, sorry.
And then the service station is the 1405. That was submitted initially, but some additional assessment was needed to prove that it wasn't a brownfield. So there was a phase 2 and an asbestos survey done, and I understand those reports are ready, and the conclusion is that it's not a brownfield, so it would be eligible for the demolition program. So we'll have 2 sites in the demo program, and
So
then,
we'll have those certifications in time to submit?
yes.
Okay, I thought we would, but just want to make sure. Okay.
And then the city of Powell had 2 potential sites that they were working on. I understand one, I think the owner had passed away, or there was some issue with the owner, so they were trying to work through that. It was the 77 Scioto Street project. And then he had mentioned a second one, Bennett Farm property. But I'm not positive if they'll have everything by the May 1st deadline, but I'm trying to work with them to get all that
Okay.
pulled together.
And as far as you know, that's it, those 2, the
Yeah.
2 that we were ready to
And then
submit for
the
the
2
county.
PAL
And then the 2
projects,
PAL
yes.
properties, and that's it?
Mm-hmm.
You guys heard of any others?
So if anyone has anything, we can help
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
everything
we got a
pulled
short
together
time frame,
and-
but
Yeah.
So, the Obies at the corner of Hills Miller and 23, I think they submitted for brownfield grants, right? Were they denied? Could they potentially use some of the demo funds for that remaining building they have?
It's a brownfield.
Oh, it's still,
So,
they're still defined as
yeah, those were turned down last year, right?
Yes, but I believe they resubmitted.
They resubmitted?
yeah, but not through the land
Not,
bank.
not through
Yeah.
us. They can go direct, the remediation applications can be done outside the land bank. So you think they've been resubmitted?
As far as we know.
I know you don't know for sure, but,
Yeah,
so, okay.
yeah.
But the 3 well, let's finish up with the demo grants first.
Well, that's all for the demo. So
Okay.
whatever else you want to
So,
discuss.
again, hate to see grant money just, go away, but I don't know if anybody has any, and unfortunately, it's gotta be done within 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of work to get done in 2 weeks. Yeah, Justin, you got?
Thank you, board members. Just as an update for the 2 county-owned properties, originally we thought the costs were going to be around $80,000. There's some additional work that's been done, so as of this morning, the project cost for those 2 is about $130,000. So we'll be able to take up a large share of the demo grant money.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the PAL projects, they're normally ranging like $50,000 if I remember, so we might be able to use up most of it.
So, tell me about the Cosgrave project then, what's that involved?
I'm sorry, which one?
The one you just mentioned, it'd be 130?
That's for both the house and the service station.
Oh, okay.
There were some additional costs outside of the actual demolition of the building. One was to relocate fiber at the house location because of the radio tower behind it. And then for the service station, we had to do an environmental study that was, I believe, $29,000. And then we have to do some more abatement work on the house because it has asbestos. And then lastly, we have to spend $18,000 with AP to move a power line to the old service station building.
Right.
So that's why there's all these ancillary costs
Okay.
that are popping up.
Those would be eligible?
I
You
I
think?
haven't talked to Emily about the AEP costs. That just came up about a half hour or hour
Yeah,
ago.
okay.
Um,
We'll get it.
Yeah, but the utility, the fiber relocate was approved by the state,
Okay,
so.
okay. So that would, those two properties would total about 130, is what you're
Right.
saying?
Correct.
Okay. And then Powell, maybe 50?
Yeah, maybe 50.
Two,
Yeah.
two houses?
Mhm.
Okay. Any others, Emily or Brent, that you're aware of? Justin?
Every time I speak to someone, I always mention these grants, like Mayor Galena came in, and we've been happy to talk to them about it, just to
Right.
remind people about it.
Yeah, I've mentioned, I was at a big Walnut Realtors Association last week and mentioned it. It's, you know, one of the good things about living in Delaware County is we don't have a lot of properties that need to be torn down. And it's a complicated process, and yet it's a reimbursement and so on. So it's not real straightforward, but it certainly works very well, if you have patience.
One thing we could do, we could check with,
Yeah, Brent, you want to come up?
this is real quick, Brent Smith, CEC. One thing we could do is if we talk to Pal or anybody else, if anybody has an idea of a property, if we just turn in an inventory and what information we have, it's gonna take ODOD a little bit of time to review it until they come back and say, hey, you don't have your asbestos survey, you don't have this, or you don't have that. So that would, I think, adding up the numbers real quick, there's still about 80,000 left on the table. So if we can get anything together for an inventory by next Friday, I would just recommend to put in what we have just to make sure we secure it. Because one thing that ODOD has been doing, they're trying to figure out how much money that's been allocated that is not gonna be used. And we're seeing this in a lot of different counties for both programs. So I think that if we don't put something in, that money's gone forever. So if there's anything we come up with by Friday, let's just get a list in.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that was it, thank you.
Thanks, Brent. Yeah, we'll keep spreading the word. If you're aware of anything, you know, we can, like put a placeholder in, I guess is the way you would describe it. Okay, Emily, on to the brownfield then. Really, probably not a whole lot to report there.
No, not a whole lot. A few things. Well, the fiscal year 26-27 applications, as you mentioned, no word on announcement of those yet. The land bank submitted 3 projects, as you may recall. We're hoping that there might be an announcement soon. The Ohio Land Bank Conference is this week, and there's a legislative update during the last session on Friday. So we're like, maybe they'll make an announcement during that. But we feel like the Delaware County applications were pretty strong. We got clarification from ODOD that this round is scored competitively, so there was no cure period or cure questions. So we took that as a sign, you know, we didn't get any questions back, you know, asking for clarification. So we considered our applications were complete, so hopefully they're strong and competitive against the other ones. Because we know there was a handful of other projects in Delaware that weren't, you know, being submitted through the land bank, but we feel like we have a good chance still.
Yeah, maybe, Sandra, I know the city of Delaware was looking at the BP site to
Yeah.
submit. Did you end up submitting?
I think our economic development director did submit for that
Okay.
one.
You haven't heard anything back either.
Yeah, I think everyone
Anything
has
on the
heard
Lake
nothing.
Street project? The Lake Street lots over there at the corner of Lake and
And
Central? You haven't heard anything on those?
No.
And I know they were, I think it was Phoenix that was considering applying those as well.
I think that was on his list, at least from the last time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when everything had to go through the land bank. So I think he was resubmitting most of
Okay.
those. Yeah. So that's, yeah, really no other updates on the applications there. The existing grants, we have a few projects. The fiscal year 2023 Brownfield project, the Wild Oak Market on Dublin Road for Mount Leonard. We attempted to close that one out because all the funds have been exhausted. There's still some remediation work left to do yet. So ODOD wants that grant to remain open until the no further action letter is issued. So we'll just have to continue providing quarterly status reports until that is done. And as far as we know, there's just 4 additional quarters of groundwater monitoring required. So hopefully by the end of the year, as long as the results of that monitoring are favorable, it'll get no further action, and then we could close that out, hopefully. The fiscal year 2022 demolition project that finally got closed out, there was a lot of administrative items that needed addressed at the end of that. But that one was reimbursed, and that's done with. So I think it was about 11 projects total completed under that grant. And then the fiscal year 2024 demolition grant, there's just one outstanding project, 44th North Liberty in Powell, and that building's down, and they're just doing the final, like, site restoration, and then they'll
That's
have
the old
a,
carryout, right?
what
The
was
old
it?
Carryout?
It was the old, what, Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah, I think it was
No,
like
so
a
I'm thinking of a
municipal
different
building, or,
building.
It's across the street from the here.
Okay, okay, it's
Yeah.
on the
So,
east
yeah.
side of the street.
yep, that's down, and they'll have a final reimbursement for us
Okay.
soon, and I don't expect that project's not gonna use the remaining funds, so Bashford Hall was under that same grant, and their costs, we could submit another reimbursement, I guess, for them to utilize all the remaining funds
Okay.
on that grant.
That'd be good. That'd be
And then
good.
we can get that one closed out as well. And I think
Okay.
that's all I have.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Any questions for Emily or Brent? Again, we appreciate all the work you do, keeping those things moving and maintaining, a good relationship with ODOD, answering questions back and forth. So,
Mhm.
okay,
Okay, thank you.
very good. Thanks, Emily. We got a request from Homeport. Homeport is the huge project over on the east side of Delaware. They're putting in affordable housing at the old county engineer's site. We've been working with them. I know the city's been very much involved in that, and the project is moving along very nicely. The entire, Justin, maybe you could explain this better than I, but basically there was about a $4,000 plus cost for CEC to administer that project. Land Bank paid it, ODOD reimbursed the Land Bank, and Homeport has said they didn't get the full grant application dollars because it included the CEC funds that we paid. So kind of as a matter of policy, I think it's an interesting discussion. So Justin,
Right.
How close am I to the accurate on that?
No, that's correct. Thanks for the overview. As Commissioner Ben mentioned, for this project, it was closed out through the Brownfield grant some months ago. The lead on the project noticed that, hey, our grant award was X dollars, but the distributions from the Land Bank back to Homeport were short by $4,000. That is because we were recouping administrative costs on this project paid out to CEC, which is allowable. So the project manager called me and wanted to know, could the Land Bank pay us directly even though the grant monies have been fully utilized? So essentially with something like this, Hopeport's requesting almost $4,100 in additional disbursements that would be paid for from the Land Bank's so-called general fund. And when I brought this up to Commissioner Benton, just pointing out these reimbursements were also happening on the Laner project, which is that carry out by the zoo that was discussed. That's an additional $6,800. So, out of fairness, if we were to go forward and repay Homeport for these admin costs, we would likely have to do the same for the Laner project.
And one or two others, I think?
There are others. Sunny V, that was a project under Brownfield 1 that was done a few years ago. That's another about $5,500. That might be a little bit more difficult because the owners of that, they're not involved anymore, and they weren't technically on a reimbursement basis. We paid their vendors directly for their remediation work. Just some perspective. I mean, these are allowable reimbursements. CEC and county staff have been doing a lot of work helping to get these grants through and administer them. So we just thought it was an appropriate way to recoup some of our administrative costs.
I'll just cut to the chase. I think it's reasonable that we have these administrative costs, and I hate to start the precedent of making one exception. How do you make an exception? You know, making them for all, as you were alluding to there.
Yeah.
So I would not support it.
And just as some feedback too, the rep from Homeport was really nice. He's just doing his due diligence, trying to get as much money back
Yeah.
for the
We've
organization
been
as he
very-
can.
Yeah, we've been
County's
very,
been very generous on that
yeah,
project.
we've supported that in the millions of dollars.
Right,
So, but again, they're a good organization, they're doing a really nice project, and I understand. You know, they wanted to recoup as much as they could. So I'm where Commissioner Merrill is. I think we, you know, it's land bank funds, they got reimbursed. It's not Homeport funds that, you know, that
Right.
would be reimbursed. So I think as a matter of policy, I would say we really shouldn't advance, or send those funds on to Homeport. Doesn't mean that we can't do other things with that money that we're accumulating, which I'd like to see, but I don't think this is appropriate at this time.
Great.
So, everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, we won't take action or anything.
Okay.
I
And
just
I'll-
want to make sure we addressed it.
Great, and I'll correspond with the rep from Homeport on this too.
Okay.
So, thanks.
Very good, thanks, Justin. Current project update we've done, schedule, I included, I had, for my speech at Big Walnut, I had Karen actually pulled this together for me, very nice schedule summarizing all the projects we've done. It was included in the handouts for the meeting, and again, not that we need any action or anything, but it's just a real nice summary of the projects that we've done since the land bank started the grant program, participating in the grant program. We had 2 separate lots in the city of Delaware on Spring Street, setting up, hopefully we'll get a hotel there someday. City of Powell has been the most aggressive with it. I think they've done 7 here, 6. And then we've got several more in the pipeline. City of Sunbury had a couple lots that they knocked down and turned into parking. Scioto Township had a couple problem properties that they knocked down. Genoa was the old police station that they had knocked down and rebuilt on. And then, of course, Ohio Wesleyan was the really big one, $371,000 for knocking down Bashford. And that's all just a demolition. The Brownfield, much bigger dollars, but quite a few, not nearly as many properties. The Sunny V, you know, I don't know if you've driven by, anybody's driven by that lately, but turned into a beautiful property. And it sat empty for 15 years, deteriorating. And, you know, thanks to the leadership of a bunch of people, we got that sold in the private sector, and they just turned it into a beautiful property. Laner, the Wild Oats, I think is what it's called, the coffee shop there, and charcuterie. A couple of properties for the county, and then the really big one for Homeport is the $921,000 grant that we've been talking about, remediating the county engineer's site for their use. So that's historical of the ones that have been done.
I mentioned to you the other day, I think it'd be a success. You know, I think if we could get a tour of the Sunny V property.
Yeah, I checked on that, but it isn't finished yet.
Okay, are they willing to let us do it at some point?
Well, I checked through a third party.
Okay.
But I think once they finish.
It would be, I think it'd be great to see a finished product,
Yeah.
and that was really one of our first.
Oh, yeah, it was
Yeah.
earlier.
It was the first.
Yeah.
So just an observation.
Yeah,
I think
and that one went surprisingly well, again. Okay, we do need to do under other business, we need to approve the minutes of the November, when is it?
The 12th.
November 12th, 2025 meeting, regular meeting. Everybody should have had a draft by now. Again, just a reminder, we record all the meetings, so all the commentary is recorded. But the meeting's minutes just talk about the approvals of various motions. So, and I don't know if I had any questions, comments, changes.
Move to approve as submitted.
Okay, any further, second? Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that's what you need, Ally?
Yep.
Okay, great, thank you. That's all I had. Although I did want to just mention, you know, I think it was a year ago, maybe it was 2 years ago, I brought up the point that we're accumulating some cash now in our accounts. We've got $300-some thousand now. And the successful programs, projects that we've done have been almost entirely funded by the state ODOD, although state of Ohio is authorizing legislation. And I would like to, again, at some point in the near, not too distant future, address whether we could develop a program of our own. The challenge is, we keep talking about, we have this money available, we can help you demolish projects, but we're just not getting a whole lot of projects submitted. But maybe we could make it cleaner, simpler, easier. You know, we wouldn't have to involve the ODOD. We could use the same rules, but then do it ourselves. Again, not suggesting we take any action today, but I think, you know, again, we could knock down probably 10 homes, you know, with $300,000, and we could probably find that many in the county, or other, if they're bigger ones, other projects. So that's something to consider maybe at our next meeting. I don't know if anybody had anything else. Doug, anything else? Sandra, Michelle?
I just
Emily?
have a correction, I'm sorry. The 20, or the current year demolition program, it is 250. And I said, or sorry, it is 230, not 250.
It is 230, okay.
Yes.
That was the number I had in my head before.
Yeah, I had 250 in my head, and then I went and was looking at my notes.
Yeah, I don't know
It
where
is
they came up with
230,
230
so
versus 250.
I
but-
apologize.
Oh, that's fine. So, no further business?